I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today, male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Whoa, Jesse, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot.
They agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions.
You're
and not
acting like an idiot, and you're wasting my time. I appreciate you coming. All right, thank you for coming. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people. They are weak people, and why have these people on? It doesn't even make sense. They don't come to communicate.
Uh-oh. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes.
Uh-oh. I love mangoes too.
9 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under a Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11? That sounds good.
The American people will lie. And highway robbery is what you're doing. Bring my mangoes back down. My bag of mangoes. My bag of mangoes.
Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes. Bring my mangoes back down. Raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Bring my mangoes back down.
The Wisconsin crowd identifying with the mangoes.
Disproportionately affected the American people. Those who want me to be healthy. Those who want me to be healthy. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit. Don't raise the price of fruit.
Mangoes? Wow, what an incredible sweet serenade of fruits and vegetables. To get us started today, the fourth day now of deliberation in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. The deliberation has been going on so long that the trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery has now seen the defense rest and is now there is a charge conference going on related to the charges. And even that case now is moving forward. So what a day. Now, I have again spoken to some defense attorneys and one prosecutor even this morning. And there is something sort of special about Friday deliberations when you've been deliberating, quite frankly, most of the week, which is there are jurors. It's a known thing that jurors are thinking about their weekends. And if possible, many jurors would prefer not to have the continuing duty that they have to discharge of finding a verdict hanging over their head the entire weekend. Now, of course, there's examples of everything. In some courts, they're allowed to deliberate on the weekends. If they say we want to deliberate on the weekend, the judge would set it up for them, et cetera, et cetera. So anything can be the case. But it is often the case that as you get closer to the weekend, particularly with a short holiday week next week, jurors are saying, we want to be done. We want to be done with this. And that is going to be something we're going to be looking at very strongly today, as the jury is about to complete 24 hours of deliberation, if you can imagine, 24 hours of deliberation. We are just 32 minutes and 15 seconds from the start of hour 25 of deliberations. Let's briefly listen to what's happening here in this other trial, because this one is basically just as interesting.
If you're not familiar with the process, the word charge doesn't mean a criminal charge. It literally means an instruction to jurors. And they're hashing it out there in Brunswick, Georgia. Here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, the clock continues to tick. The jury deliberating the fate of Kyle Rittenhouse. Our team is inside the courtroom and outside the courthouse. If anything happens, of course, any question, any development, we'll get you live into the courtroom here in Kenosha. We'll also dip in throughout the morning during this charge conference in Brunswick, Georgia. We'll step aside, take a break right now. You're watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
All right, so that's what's going on. We are watching all of it very closely. If anybody has a feed from outside the courthouse, I would love it. I wasn't able to find one this morning, but things are happening. I do want to say thank you to Christy Lamb, who is today's first new member at joinpacman.com with the coupon code UnchargedPickles.
Uncharged pickles?
We may be down to the last few hours of that coupon code. I do want to make sure everybody understands when we have a verdict, the code Uncharged Pickles is done. Maybe at that point, I don't know, we switch to millibytes.
Millibyte, megabyte. It was a 4 millibyte video.
Millibyte, exactly. Okay, let's see what's on people's minds and see what people are thinking here as we go into day 4 of deliberations. Let's see. Will you drop the link to Mangoes in the chat? I don't have a link. It's like a file I have on my computer. Pack Daddy, I'm more invested in this stream series than I should be. I mean, listen, at this point, I want to see what is happening. I want to see this through to the end. Horgus Blorgus says, as a concerned friend, I thought your point about Destiny being very mad at trivial things was fair, and the way he got defensive was alarming. Yeah, the reaction to yesterday's conversation with Destiny was totally off the charts and all over the place. Whoa, very shaky camera. We may be having something happening here. There were people who thought I came off as winning, and people who thought I came off as losing, and people who thought I was kidding when I asked Destiny about the autism. I wouldn't ever joke about something like that. Ever, ever, ever. I was just asking. I know plenty of people who are just mildly autistic, and sometimes they don't, they get very mad at something that's minor or whatever. It was totally genuine. There's nothing funny about autism, period. I mean, that's it. But yeah, people saying that just, I completely collapsed or Destiny collapsed or whatever. I have to tell you, I'm bored with it. I didn't even know it was going to explode the way it did. Oh, hold on. We've got some Let's Go Brandon and some Free Kyle stuff to ban here. Oh man, it is sad when we have to ban so many people. Okay, there it is. Maybe it's your destiny to not be friends with him anymore. You remind me of David Spade. It's a compliment. David, where did the "Sir, your wife is up in the air" clip come from?
Sir, your wife is up in the air.
Trump was at a rally or something, and he was saying that his wife was in a helicopter is what he meant. I don't know. It's kind of a funny clip. So there we have that as far as that goes. I want to say thank you to Henry Engvall, who just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com. Coupon code was uncharged.
Uncharged pickles?
Pickles. You are new member number 2 today. Very much appreciate you, Henry. And yes, Patreon continues to count double. Okay. Do we know of any live streams right now outside the courthouse? I would love to see what's happening there. Let me see if I look at Kenosha Courthouse and then we look at live elements. Ruptly does not have anything live outside the courthouse. They have this very same shot. PBS and Law and Crime we know about. Let's see what's up with Snack Squad. Nope, Snack Squad has got the same thing as us. I'm not seeing anybody who's live outside the courthouse right now. If anybody has one, you can let me know. Yeah, we don't need a Kenosha police scanner. That doesn't seem necessary. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not seeing that. David, how about you give everyone during the verdict free pickles? I'll take Valsic dill. Oh, give me a break. Pack Daddy, why does Patreon count double when website subs are more valuable to you? We've made the calculation that there's more people in the audience who are not yet pledged on Patreon, so we believe it's potentially a larger pool of people. But there's no big, this is just a live stream on the internet, guys. It's not, nothing is so, serious. Internets are not as serious business as some people think. I want to say thank you to Scott Stahl and Simi Saran, new members 3 and 4 today on my website. David, do you think the unban button is due to you having to ban so many people lately? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. As funny as that idea is, I don't think that is the case. All right, let me jump. Because we have such a hectic day, I want to jump right into a few voicemails here that have been received related to the trial. I do have to ban. Let's Go Brandon, all caps, is an insta-ban. It's just that there's just no tolerance for it. It's insta-ban, you're gone. And there's a glitch right now on YouTube with unbanning. So it's sort of like every ban is default a perma-ban, sadly or gleefully right now. I think we got everybody there. Good. Okay, let's get to a few voicemails here.
Hey, David. This is B-Dog. I was sitting here having my morning Mountain Dew gingerbread snapped, and I was thinking to myself, hypothetically, if Kyle Rittenhouse goes to prison, do you think it would be good for Kyle, dog, or do you think he would be further radicalized in prison, dog? I'll take my answer off the air, Pack Dog.
I think that Rittenhouse in prison is a real question mark. He doesn't strike me necessarily as the guy to get even more radicalized. That's one way it can go in prison. The other one is you're sort of like scared straight to some degree. I mean, he's barely an adult. So, yeah. David, what are your favorite spots to eat in LA? Yes, I'm going to be very powerfully in Los Angeles soon for a period of time that we're looking at very strongly. I mean, LA, there's so many great spots. There's a lot of great spots actually in North Hollywood, a less touristy neighborhood, which I like. I'm a fan of Sugarfish. It's sort of like a mini chain. There's one in New York, I think Miami, and a couple in LA. Great sushi. What else do I like in LA? There's a place I went to with Hassan Piker and Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bunnell II and Melina Destiny Bunnell II and my manager, an Indian place. Hold on, let's see. Indian food, West Hollywood. Let me see if I can find the name of the place. 10 best Indian restaurant. I hope it was one of the best 10. Jeez. None of these. It's kind of like a fusion Indian place. I don't even know how to describe it. Oh, what was the name of this place? Hassan got some great chicken thighs there. It was interesting. Yeah, I can't find the name of it. God, what was the name of this place? Yeah, it's not a chain. It's not Chipotle, guys. It's like 3 locations. All right. Well, anyway. David, sir, thank you for your outstanding trial coverage. Appreciate elements you powerfully bring to it. Will you play the Obama song when you have time? It's my favorite. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. Oh, wait. Jethro Bradley Obama. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I haven't played this in a while. We can listen to it real quick. It looks like something may be happening, so we're going to keep an eye out here. Oh, it's muted for some reason.
God bless the United States. God bless Obama. You say Obama, I say Obama. You say your mama, I say your mamna. You say banana, I say banana. You say David Pacman, I say David Pacmanma.
That is being used by some, but it's... Obama. I did miss it. I should have mentioned it. I agree.
You say Obama, I say Obama. When Obama killed Osama, I think you mean Osama. When I smoke a blunt, it's always marijuana. The dude from Tibet, the Dalai Lama. Obama.
Yeah. All right, so there it is. That's a special request. It looks like something is happening here. I also was sent a feed, I guess, from the courthouse. This is NBC. Oh, okay. Wow, so there's already a crowd. It's only 9:23 in the morning, and there's already a crowd at the courthouse. So potential for a dicey day, for sure. So we're going to be monitoring that very closely as well. Okay. Pack Daddy, why not shout out YouTube memberships like you do web and Patreon? P&L-I-L-Y. Oh, my God. Put I'm not autistic, I'm Hispanic on the soundboard. I emailed you a live... Okay, yeah, we got it. Favorite spots in L.A. Did the defense initially try to dismiss with prejudice on Friday and shift it without on Wednesday? I did not see that on Friday myself. Reconciliation bill passed, David. What do you think? Haven't looked at it yet, so wouldn't be able to say. Pretty busy with this right now. If this kid does not walk free, Wisconsin will have deserved the damages of last year, and dare I say, they will deserve another burning with double damage. That's very aggressive. That's extremely, extremely aggressive. I do want to say thank you to Tony Blackman, who just made a pledge via Patreon. Those count double, folks, puts us at 6. Also, thanks to Martin Segura and Jake Manderfield, who just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, numbers 7 and 8. Let's get back to a few voicemails about the trial. Let's see what we've got here.
David, I cannot totally agree with you and your Reddit poster about the messaging with regards to the Rittenhouse trial and how the left is at a great disadvantage to the right. Especially the part where you say that on the left, what was I thinking now?
Okay. I'm going to move on here. Let's listen to a few others.
That's the reason that the patriotic, loving people of America and Australia will join forces. They will protest and rise up against their...
Man, it's just, he's barely audible. Barely audible.
Hey, David Pacman. This is Woody Underwood, calling from Racine, Wisconsin. I'm calling because you did a video on the QAnon shaman.
The shaman. Yeah, God, I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. I just, don't know where you're going to go from here. You made a complete and utter fool out of yourself. You backed the wrong horse. I begged you. I called you to try to tell you. I always thought you were a nice guy. I always thought you were working for the best interest of people. But, I mean...
This guy's been calling me for a year, saying I'm completely bad faith, dishonest liar. When did he think I was doing all these great things?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do now. I mean, what are you going to do? You fucked up the biggest story in the history of the world.
I don't even know what he's talking about. All right, let's see if we have anything else on the trial here.
Hey, David. Dave in California. It looks like Ben Shapiro put something out on YouTube that says there's going to be civil unrest in Kenosha. And all the comments are referring to all these black people that are going to riot now and burn down all these places and all this. And it's just making it sound like black people are going to go crazy. But I don't think any black people are going to riot. Why would they? It was a very young white guy with an AR-15 who shot 3 other white guys, killing 2.
Right.
Why would they?
Okay, very good. Let's see what else we've got.
On YouTube, people in the comment sections of videos about the Kyle Rittenhouse case in Wisconsin, they keep on talking about one of the victims, and they keep on basically dragging that victim through the mud. And they keep on saying, well, there were cases against this person, they're a pedophile, they're a registered sex offender, or something or other, some type of sexual assault type of cases against this individual.
Yeah, they've been talking about that with Rosenbaum for a while. Let's see. Cawthorn was dipping during McCarthy's speech. Oh, is that right? Let's see if we can find that. That's bizarre. Can I find that? Cawthorn tobacco. Oh, yeah, look at this. Man, look at this. I just can't stand this guy.
We will not have the next generation doing better than generation. Every great society has collapsed when they overextend. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, Skinny and Hoyer and I disagree.
Oh, God.
Children will love
This guy. Man, I just dislike everything about that guy. That's really something. When I hear the right complain about the jury being pressured by BLM, are we to believe it doesn't go both ways? BLM isn't outside with assault rifles. True. Thank you, David, for reading my super chats. I work at a grocery store. I try to super chat. I also have autism, so sometimes it's hard to type. Well, we welcome your super chats. Thank you. Did you hear Build Back Better pass the House? I just did. Pappy told me. I don't know anything about it yet. Calling him Pillow made me laugh like a lunatic. Can we get a Stir Your Calzones Up in the Air? I don't have that right now. Hoping for an H3 podcast appearance when in LA. I like that idea. I'm going to reach out to Ethan Klein and let him know I'm going to be in LA. I think that's actually, I would love to appear with him. I want to say thanks to Michael Hendra, who made a pledge via Patreon. Those count double, so that puts us at 10. Today may be the last day for the Uncharged Pickles coupon code.
Uncharged pickles?
Because we're hoping for a verdict. We're hoping for a verdict today so we can end this. Crowd continuing to gather at the courthouse. At some point, maybe we will be able to get closer to the courthouse. So far, nothing really big happening. We'll go over to our court TV feed, and we're going to keep an eye on it and see what's going on. Okay, voicemails continuing to come in about the trial, about yesterday's conversation with Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II.
Hi, David. It's great to listen to your program. It's unique. I'm curious why you are always following up and simply discussing the topics that the major media is presenting to the U.S. public.
I see that they're asking me why I'm not talking about what's going on in Africa. You know, my audience just doesn't watch it. So, you know, to some degree, we want to cover stuff that people that people are interested in. Let's see what else we've got here.
David, Brad from Wisconsin, first-time caller, long-time listener, great topic, love the show. So why isn't anybody talking about my belief, and I think it's fact, that it's not just about self-defense, but it's about if he was able to use deadly force in self-defense. If you look up Wisconsin law, you are limited to using or not using deadly force or causing great bodily harm unless it's reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, that's part of what's at issue here. There's another voicemail.
David, sir, Jason from Hawaii. I literally just got done listening to your conversation with Stephen, Destiny, whatever the long name is. Anyways, dude, every time I listen to him to debate right-wingers, he tears them apart, and it's great. But when he was talking to you, I think he did a really good job of highlighting exactly where he was kind of being a little bit overly hyperbolic and really kind of drilling him down on points that he was making. I thought you handled yourself extremely, extremely well. It looks like the bridge might still be intact. I love it. I think you guys have a great dynamic. Keep up the conversations. I know that not everyone in the audience is going to agree with me, but you guys really have something good going. So I'd love to see more of it. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.
All right. So there's one piece of feedback.
Hey, David, it's Joanne calling from New York City. I just finished listening to you talking to Destiny about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And at the end, Destiny said to you twice, I love you. How come you didn't say it back to him? Like, he obviously thinks the world of you.
What?
And the other thing I wanted to comment on was you guys are such good debaters. Anyway, it was very interesting, and keep doing what you're doing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. When he asked you about, like, you're giving your opinion on your show, does that sort of sway people who are listening to you? I mean, hopefully people are getting new information from other news sources as well.
Right.
But I always tend to agree with you. Anyway, I hope that makes sense.
All right. So there is another opinion.
Hi, David. Sean from Lancaster here. I was just listening to your conversation with Destiny. I do think there was something to take away from it insofar as your audience is probably progressive and his audience is not. And I think some people can take some from both sides and maybe meet in the middle. I do think it was a little bit telling when he said that he just loves to argue and that he kind of gets off on it. And that when you would agree with him, he was almost like a disarming, like, strike, that he was kind of dumbfounded. So I think it was worthwhile. Thanks for the show. Keep on keeping on.
Wow. Well, there's quite a perspective. That's quite a perspective.
More people would remember that you did this. So I love it. I just wanted to make a comment about Destiny. I think you're the most patient person that I know of, because he was so closed-minded. I mean, he just wouldn't even hear you. And I think this is part of the problem with how people are trying to communicate. Like, he just had his preconceived notion. I don't know why he's defending the judge, who is obviously wacky and obviously erring on the side of helping the defense. I mean, it's crazy. The judge is just, I'm always agape. Like, so I don't understand why Kenny is defending this judge. It's so bizarre. Like, when he said he was proficient in technology, I mean, it's weird. Like, is he his nephew or something? I don't understand it. But I was really struck. I listened because I just love your live streams and I don't want to miss any of them. But at some point I was like, oh, David, is this guy your friend? Like, I don't think I'd be patient enough to have a friend like that. I don't mean a friend who has different opinions than me. That's fine. That's great. But he's so closed-minded. To me, he's as closed-minded as anyone on the right who is insisting that Trump had won the election. So I just am further struck by your professionalism, how fair and balanced you are.
Oh my God.
Your knowledge, the breadth and depth of your knowledge, and also the fact that when you don't know something, you'll tell someone, oh, I haven't heard that. I have to read on that. I don't know the answer to that. So that's refreshing as well.
Wow. Very, very nice message, I have to say. Let's see what else we've got. Jimmy from Philly has an opinion about the Destiny conversation.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? I'm not really liking Destiny because he's killing you, David. Destiny's killing you.
Wow, what a surprise. Jimmy doesn't like my perspective.
David, Jimmy from Philly. What? You do not have an opinion. You're lying, David. You're fucking lying. Do you understand? You argue in bad faith. Destiny's has been trouncing you. He's kicking, smacking you around. Oh my God. I know nothing about Destiny, but he's beating the balls off you. I can only imagine what the hard bastard would do to you. Oh my fucking God, David.
Who?
You bait the hard bastard. Show you got some balls.
So there's an opinion from Jimmy. Jimmy thinks that, okay, so there's that. And now everybody knows everybody's opinion, which I think is a great, great thing. Curious how things would have turned out if Grosskreutz shot and killed Rittenhouse under the belief he was stopping an active shooter. It's a great question. It's a very good question. I don't have the answer. The QAnon shaman is an example of what happens when the peyote wears off. He's been a meme on the res. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, welcome everybody. The jury is about to start its 25th hour of deliberations. Hold on a second. We got to ban a couple people here. Okay. Good. We got a couple people banned. We're standing by outside the courthouse, a very small crowd right now, okay? We're looking inside the courthouse, and we're also covering other coverage. Let's take a look at what's happening over on the Court TV live stream. This is the trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. They are finalizing charges. This case moving very quickly.
But I would withdraw my objection to it based on the arguments that I've heard. I do prefer changing the word difficulties because I'm not quite sure that matches in case.
Well, yeah, and that word is the word in this charge. So, and what I mean by that, not just that it sits in the pattern, but that is the defining word in the charge. I mean, it really either works that way with that idea. My concern is changing the word changes really the nature of the charge too much. That's why I'm going to think it through. I'll come back to that.
All right. So with regard to our next section, which is identification, we have two sections. We have 1.35.10, identification reliability, and then we have 1.35.11, identification burden of proof. The court obviously noted that I did not put in the reliability one. And the reason for that is this is not a case of mistaken identity. It's not a some other dude did it case. It is not a case where we have anything in dispute. Officer Minshew showed up on the scene, and there's photographs of all three defendants standing there. It has not been any sort of identification issue. They were all identified by law enforcement officers who took the stand, and Travis McMichael took the stand and said, yes, that was me. That's what I did. So this charge in the state's mind is not really appropriate because it really talks about the opportunity of the witness to view the alleged perpetrator at the time of the alleged incident. We don't really have any of that. Possibility of mistaken identity. We don't have that. Was the witness's identification influenced by factors? Well, this isn't an identification case.
He's really good.
The state only did the burden of proof because it is the burden on the state to prove their identity, and we believe we have done that. But this charge, 1.35.10, is really in an identification case, so we didn't propose it.
Well, and 135.11, so is that being withdrawn?
Oh, no, 135.11 we feel has to be charged. So it's really 10, identification reliability, that starts on the bottom of page 10 and goes to the middle of page 11, that addresses identification by some person who may know or not know that person. But we do feel 1.35.11 should be charged.
Well, if we deal first with 1.35.10, we also had sought to ask that it be excluded. It does not seem appropriate.
And I added that in because normally it comes in and the pattern 135.11 was asked for without modifications, so
Why does everything about this trial seem more professional and sensible than the Rittenhouse trial?
I'm removing the identification, but if we're going to keep 135.11, it needs to be tailored because right now, at least what I understand,
Well, can I throw this out, Your Honor? I think when we originally began the case, we were not sure what the state was going to be asserting with respect to who had been on that video the 4 other nights before. The state did draw back from that, even though you did not give a stipulation that it's Ahmaud Arbery. All of it's assumed, it's implied, it's assumed, and no one disputes that that's Ahmaud Arbery in the house on those other occasions. That's why I would have wanted to have an identification charge if there had been some dispute about it. But our clients are there on the scene, having called 911, the shots fired, and there the police come, and there they are, and they say, hey, this is what we all did. These are the roles we all took. This isn't a whodunit. So for that reason, I think identification just muddies the water.
We concur. All right, jury instructions being hammered out in Brunswick, Georgia. We'll have more right after this. Stay with us.
All right, so the Rittenhouse jury is just moments from entering their 25th hour of deliberation. We have a view outside the courthouse. Everything is still quiet. So I'm going to step away for the time being. We are going to keep the stream going. Feel free to chat. We will keep banning people participating in bad faith. And then we'll be back with voicemails and a whole bunch of different things. Maybe a verdict today. We are standing by for it. Sorry, I was muted for a second there. Welcome back, everybody. We are standing by in the deliberations of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. There is some potential news about the mistrial, and I'm going to get to that momentarily. Appreciate everybody who's been standing by and watching the stream. I do want to take a look at the latest update in terms of the counter. Okay, they'll be right back. I believe they're into their 26th or 27th hour of deliberation. But here is the big news that is going on right now. We may be getting to a point where before the week is out, the judge will rule on the multiple mistrial requests. Now, we don't know that. We don't know that. There's a concerning scenario for some where verdicts come back guilty and then the judge goes, mistrial, see everybody later. We're going to wait and see. But here's the latest from Newsweek. 2 mistrial requests are looming over the Kyle Rittenhouse homicide trial as the jury enters its 4th day of deliberations on Friday after sitting for a total of 23 hours. Judge Schrader is yet to rule on a controversial motion with prejudice filed on Tuesday over prosecutorial overreaching and the withholding of high-resolution drone footage. The defense initially claimed the prosecution deliberately sent them lower-quality video evidence, but it was later discovered the video was compressed when sent over email. If the judge decides to side with the defense on the mistrial, it could upend a possible verdict reached with the jury, by the jury, and stop Rittenhouse from being retried on the same charges in the future. So that ruling, sort of in a general sense, could come at any time. The judge has made himself pretty scarce today. But we are watching all of it, and there is a slightly bigger crowd forming. The crowd tends to really get going in the afternoon. Remember, it's only 11:20 a.m. from the standpoint of Central Time at the courthouse right now. The Pan-African flag has arrived. You can see the little Kyle Rittenhouse effigy. That's the one that says something like "Convict Killer Kyle," all with K's. So it's like an allusion to KKK. And it's not one that I've endorsed or attacked. I'm just simply reporting to you what it is that is there. But right now, more of a media presence. If anybody knows there's an individual here holding a microphone interviewing someone, if that's a feed we could find, I would love to find that feed for us to examine and review. I think it's something that we should look at.
Looking at that very strongly.
Yeah, I would want to take a look at that. But I'm not aware. We are also getting close to a very key moment in the day at this trial, which is lunchtime.
Let's take a break. Lunch is here.
Now, I think that our ability to know what lunch is today will be limited. I don't imagine that the jury will be called back into the courtroom simply for the judge to say it's now time for lunch or to make any kind of announcement about what they have.
But we have Subway tomorrow. By the way, how are the calzones? The food is here. Pizza is here. Warm food around noon. All right, how was the KFC? Very good. All right, enjoy your lunch.
Right. I don't think we're going to get any of that today. They'll just bring it straight back to the jury room, and that's sort of going to be it. Now, I do want to tell you guys about something that it's not related, but it is one of the funniest things. Funniest things. You know how we joke around about Trump's semi-literacy? We talk about Trump's semi-literacy and this entire thing, and Trump's executive orders are written in crayon. Trump is putting out a book, which many former presidents do. It's a picture book. You really can't write this stuff. The Washington Examiner is, even look at this. The huge book printed in America, there's an element of this where the book is physically big. It's a coffee table style collection of photographs that the former president selected himself, for which he wrote captions. Oh, Trump's book is a picture book. It's like, guys, you can't write this stuff. You can't write this stuff. And look at some of the captions. Here's a picture of him with Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Mike Pence attempting to listen to Crazy Nancy in the Oval Office. Such natural disagreement. It's a picture book, guys. It's a picture book. And he supposedly wrote the captions. They're like tweet style captions. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And we're going to be looking at that in more detail. We're going to look at that on Monday, on the Monday program. Okay. I want to say two thank yous to people who just signed up on my website, Stephen Zollendick and Michael Blakeborough, who just signed up at joinpacman.com, numbers 11 and 12 today. I very much appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. Voicemails continue to pour in as we stand by here for possibly some kind of revelation. Oh boy, Dershowitz is going to be on Court TV. That should be interesting. Court TV doing sort of historical content at this point in time, but we are standing by. A few voicemails that have been coming in. Let me see if I can get some for you here.
Hey, David, this is Josh from Nebraska. I've been trying to find out if that second guy that brought a gun to the Rittenhouse courthouse yesterday was pro-Rittenhouse or not. I think he was pro-Rittenhouse, but I saw something on Twitter saying that 300 Proud Boys were coming with their rifles to Kenosha to protect the courthouse. Have you seen anything about that?
I have not actually seen anything about that. I have not seen anything about that, but it's definitely something I would explore. Let's see what else we've got here. There's a lot. I mean, the voicemails are just pouring in.
Hey, David. This is Steven from Wisconsin. I was listening to your conversation with Destiny yesterday, and I just can't understand that how you have so much patience with a guy who's so arrogant and just strawmans you through the whole thing.
I just don't take any of it seriously.
And I know there must be some deeper relationship I don't get. I've only heard him on your show, but there's so many things, like when you were trying to explain that there are elements of entertainment to your show, and then he just turns around and says, oh, well, that makes more sense if you say it's just entertainment. Right. And then you call him out on that, and he just turns around and says, well, no, that's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me that you just have these long conversations with him so often, because he's just so disrespectful and arrogant to you, but you just seem so respectful to him.
Well, I do what I can. I do want to let you guys know that right now, or a little earlier or a little later today, we don't know the exact timing, we have the first female president of the United States. Joe Biden is undergoing a routine colonoscopy.
Elements of medical.
And as a result, because he is accepting the general deep sedation or general anesthesia, he has to turn over power to Kamala Harris. So we have our first female president of all time today. You might remember that Donald Trump didn't want to turn power over to Mike Pence during Trump's colonoscopy. So he decided to forego the anesthesia. He was so horrified about the idea of having to, even for an hour or two, turn power over to Mike Pence, that Trump didn't do that. So that is very, very interesting. I want to say thank you to Forrest Hughes, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code
Uncharged Piccolos.
And that coupon code will go until we get a verdict. Let's do a poll. The poll, very, very obvious one. Do you believe, or no, let's just say, will there be a verdict today? Yes, no. Let's see what people think. We're now only a few hours of deliberation from this going over the weekend into next week, which would be quite interesting. So we are getting that poll going. Feel free to vote in it. Initial reaction from the audience is 53 no, 47 yes. That's pretty close. Let's allow more people to participate just to get a better sense of it. Let's listen to a couple of other voicemails here.
Hey, David. Steph from Wisconsin here. I just want to say thank you for continuing to cover the trial. All my friends and family around me are holding out for a fully guilty verdict. But they don't follow politics as much as me, so they're all relying on me to keep them updated. And so I really appreciate that. And I also want to say, what was his name? Sam Cedar. It's bullshit when he said, it's BS when he said that no one wants to listen to David Pakman in the shower. I'm sorry, but I've listened to your bonus show. Most of the time I'm listening to it in the shower before I go to work. So
Wow.
He's wrong, but thank you.
Wow. That's a major revelation. That is compelling. Someone should be calling in Sam Cedar about that. What's more likely, Trump had a colonoscopy without anesthesia, or he got anesthesia and left us without a president? Yeah. Someone says actually the first woman acting president was Woodrow Wilson's wife while he was ill. I didn't know that. So, okay, let's see about that. Woodrow Wilson's wife, president. Edith Bowling Galt Wilson. Let's see. It's not clear that that was official, though, from what I'm reading. It's not clear that that was, it seems like okay, I'm not going to comment on that because I should be investigating that. I think the jury's logarithms are up in the air. That's what's taking so long. How long before SCOTUS overturns big things do you think it will activate enough voters to swing states or elections in 24? No idea. That's a really big question. I'm not sure. David, I even watch your show in the shower. Did you catch Jordan B. Peterson on Rubin Report that it's cringe? I don't know that I can subject the audience to that level of cringe. Let's see. Dave Rubin, Jordan Peterson. I mean, I'm willing to look at a few seconds of it just to see, but I can't torture my audience with that. Oh, whoops. Hold on a second. Peterson, Rubin. Oh my God. Here it is. Let's see.
I go out on my dock at night up north.
Has that unearthed anything that maybe you thought wasn't as intense?
I think the thing that surprised me the most probably was how rapidly we stampeded to imitate a totalitarian state in the immediate aftermath of the release of COVID. Now,
oh my God.
If you think it through.
What does he mean by the release, by the way? Even that's odd. Am I missing it with the release of COVID?
A little bit. No one really knew how serious the virus was going to be. And so it was an unknown threat. And so you can imagine a herd of animals or a school of fish for that matter, because this kind of phenomena is universal throughout the animal kingdom. The cost of overreacting to a threat is generally minimal compared to underreacting to a real threat, right? Overreacting to a hypothetical threat is cheap compared to underreacting to an actual threat. Because if you underreact, you can die. Whereas if you overreact, you generally just get tired for a minute. So a herd will stampede because the most neurotic member of the herd jumps first, and then they'll instantly follow them. And that's kind of what we did in the early stages of the pandemic. The Chinese acted first. Now, unfortunately, they are a totalitarian state, and we all followed. And that's excusable in some sense because we didn't know what sort of threat we were facing. But then the breakdown, it's really appalling in Canada, the breakdown of our rights, let's say, for mobility.
Oh my God. It's so boring. Like, who even cares what he says at this point? I find it all so boring. Rubin interviewing Jordan Peterson. It's like, are we back to that routine? Where it's just, oh my God. I'm more, you know who's more interesting to me than Jordan Peterson? Paula Cuesta and Christian Rady, who just signed up on my website. I'd rather talk to you guys over JBP or PBJ or whatever any time of day. Kevin says, supporting the stream during your time out after this complete insanity wraps up, you should see if Pas Levanchana will come on. Huge music, counterculture, Argentine cultural appeal, crossover appeal. I don't know what that is. It's not returning a single result in Google. That's weird. So I don't know what that is. Strange. Don't read too much into it. The release is an accurate depiction of a virus escaping a captive population into a wider population, an outbreak. All right. Pac-Man is a dangerous ideologue disguised in the cloak of reasonableness. Whoa. That's pretty serious. Edith Wilson assumed control as president while her husband was incapacitated. Technically, it was a coup. She signed executive orders for more than a year. Wow. That is presidential history that was not on my radar. I need to read more about that for sure. Let's see what's happening over on Court TV.
If members of the public say, "Oh my God, John Smith's on that jury," don't they know that he's?
Oh my God, Dershowitz.
This or he's that. So there is some sacrifice that's being made, but I think anonymous juries are essential in certain cases. But when you limit them to certain cases, it sends a dangerous message. It started with mafia juries. And when a juror in New York discovered that they were anonymous, they said to themselves, "Oh my God, is Gotti going to come and get me? Is this mafia guy going to come and get me?" And they were scared. So we have to be sensitive to all the issues growing out of anonymous juries. But I think juries should generally be kept anonymous until at least sometime after the trial is over.
Professor Alan Dershowitz, this is all really, really helpful insight you're sharing with us. Would you kindly stay to do a little more in this segment? Because we'd love to ask you about whether you think the charging in some of these big high-profile cases has potentially been influenced by the mob on the outside.
I can stay a few more minutes, yes. Please.
Very good. Professor, thank you so much. We're going to squeeze in a break. We'll be right back with arguably the nation's leading expert in...
They're squeezing in a break there very powerfully at an exactly perfect time as we continue to stand by here to see what on earth is going on with jury deliberations. Quite extraordinary what is taking place here. Crazy work schedule caused me to miss some live streams. Did the community let the mustache die? Yes. On Wednesday, Wednesday we failed to get the requisite 50 new members and the mustache was removed. David, love the show. Do you think Kyle will be charged with reckless endangerment? We know the charges already. There's a list of 5 charges. So I don't know what you mean about, there's already charges. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. Did you transfer power when you shaved the mustache? Yeah, when I was in shaving my mustache, I did briefly transfer power to Sam Cedar, just in case. And then I resumed it very quickly. David, how does someone leave you a voicemail? You call 219-2-DAVID-P. 219-2-DAVID-P. Let's listen to another voicemail or two that continue to come in.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. You were just on the Alex Jones show. It's awesome. He did a montage of all the athletes dying in the country from the vaccine, and you had a voiceover in it. He clowned your ass, dude.
If Alex Jones really just talked about me, I would love I would love to get clips of that. There are so many people getting banned. It's actually starting to get really sad. And honestly, if you don't like my show, just go watch something else. Nobody's forcing you to be here. We're just going to keep banning people. I am seeing people saying that the verdict is in. Is that true? Where are people seeing that? Let's see. Verdict. I don't know if people are trolling me, but it's just trolling. I mean, nobody's saying it's in now. They're saying it'll be read in an hour, but let's see. Not seeing anything right now. Yeah, not seeing anything right now. Okay. So we'll stand by. Fox News is reporting it. I just don't think so. Yeah, Fox News doesn't seem to be reporting anything of the sort. Okay, very good. Well, wow. You tricked me, guys. You tricked me.
Hey, David. Just want to let you know, Bryson from Nebraska, and not only do people watch and listen to you in the shower, but they also do it while dropping pickles in the toilet. Keep doing what you're doing, and love your show.
Okay.
Hi, David. It's Whitney. I would just emailed you just some details about my court case today. I was wondering if maybe you could look into it if I don't call you.
Okay, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that. I want to be really careful about that. Dear God. Do you prefer uncharged pickle and butter pickles or uncharged dill? Probably just half sours. I doubt a verdict today. Maybe more debate about a mistrial or an actual mistrial. David, good read for you on the Wilson presidency. Edith and Woodrow, the Wilson White House, Lisa Drew books. All right, very good. Very, very powerful stuff. We are monitoring all of it. And let's see now if we go back to Court TV, if they have anything on this.
Influenced by the threat of mob violence in the charging and in the quick charging of these cases.
I have no doubt about that. Not only by the threat of violence, but by the threat of not being reelected. They are following them up. You know, you have to remember, this is something that most Americans don't appreciate. We are the only country in the history of the Western world, categorically, the only country ever to elect prosecutors. It's a disaster that we have elected prosecutors. No other country in the world has it. Our prosecutors run not only for re-election, but virtually every member of the House and the Senate who are lawyers have been prosecutors. So being a prosecutor is a stepping stone toward higher elective office. And so prosecutors are far, far too influenced by not only the mob, but also by voters, and they shouldn't be. In every other country in the world, being a prosecutor is a civil service job, and decisions are made based on the law, not on popular appeal. So we have a real problem in this country, and it's become exacerbated, but merely exacerbated. It was always a problem, but it's become exacerbated by the...
Okay, folks, we do have the first Twitter blue checkmark element that I'm aware of that the verdict is in. Carol Markowitz, columnist at the New York Post and Fox News, does have a tweet. Got a reliable tip that the Rittenhouse verdict is in and will be announced in the next hour. This is the first, listen, this is not a guarantee of anything, but this is a serious reporter. This is now a signal that the verdict may indeed be in. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye out. The verdict may be in. We don't know. We are watching and we are standing by. CNN is not yet reporting anything, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, this is just one reporter telling us what is going on. If this is true, it is imminently urgent that if you are planning on using the coupon code Uncharged Pickles, that you do it now. At the time that the verdict is in, that code is going to go away.
Uncharged Pickles?
So please, if you've been enjoying the streams and everything and you want us to keep going and going into the Arbery trial and everything, would love your support. JoinPacman.com is the place to do it. For now, it's a Schrodinger's cat. Yeah. Not exactly sure what people are talking about there. We're continuing to watch here. If you're just joining us, Fox News, let's see, columnist at the New York Post and Fox News, contributing editor to The Spectator, contributing writer to the DC Examiner, Carol Markowitz, says that she has received a reliable tip. This was from 15 minutes ago, that the verdict is in and will be announced in the next hour. Okay. Oh, by the way, can I just, this is not a joke. Okay. I'm not joking when I say this.
Not a joke.
Yeah. Last night I had a calzone for dinner because of this trial. All of the calzone stuff.
By the way, how are the calzones?
I legitimately got done with the stream last night and I was like, I want to get a calzone. And I got a veggie calzone, beautiful marinara, and it was really great. It was really great. All right, let's quote retweet. Anybody have more info? Corroboration. So I did get it was a fantastic, I have to tell you, it was a great calzone. It was a really, really good calzone. Okay, if we start seeing more people gather here, I believe that this would also be a sign that the verdict may be coming soon. Let's close out things that we don't need. And, hold on a second. Let's see what's going on.
Back to haunt the judge with a decision like that, or would the error just be so harmless that, hey, look, if anything, this person's just getting a more clear picture of what the instructions contain?
Well, it could help on an argument that the instructions themselves were wrong. The instructions were wrong. They were not good instructions. You know, there were two trials in Rittenhouse, completely different trials. The prosecutor put Rittenhouse on trial for being there, for having a gun, for being part of the demonstration. He should have stayed home.
Okay, very good. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to step away just for a second. Oh, I did just plant fall garlic. I just planted it. Very good question, J.E. I planted my fall garlic today. That's why I'm wearing my hoodie. I'm going to step away and try to get a determination as to whether the, hold on a second. We got to ban a couple more people. I'm going to try to find out whether the verdict is in. It very well may be. I'm going to be right back. If the verdict is in, we're going to be here straight through. We're going to be doing uncharged pickles. We're going to be doing dills, half sours, pastrami and corned beef on rye. We're going to be doing all of it. Okay, stand by. All right, everybody, I'm back. I've been doing a little bit of research. I am finding nothing other than this one reporter, Carol Markowitz, saying that the verdict is coming. She has sent a follow-up tweet saying, wait, hold on, where is it? I was going back and forth if I should post it because it's so not my lane. I followed the trial, but not like many of you. But information wants to be free. And again, this person is reliable and has given me correct tips before. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting. Let's see if anyone is quote tweeting with any additional information. Other than me. Let's see. Not really. This is really all we have right now. Julie Bosman Twitter. Julie Bosman Twitter. Let's see what Julie Bosman has to say. Chicago Bureau Chief. The idea is the jury will want to wrap things up in time to enjoy the quintessential Wisconsin Friday night meal. Yeah, I mentioned the weekend thing earlier. I don't see. Let's see. Another tea leaf. Jurors have just put in an order for lunch. That is a sign that we are not about to get a verdict. If they've just ordered lunch, I don't think we're about to get a verdict. Wow. Interesting. Okay, so here's someone else. Guys, I mean, if they're just ordering lunch right now, it's hard to imagine that we're about to get a verdict. But we're gonna keep watching it. We're gonna keep watching it. Let's see if anything else is happening here. Alan Dershowitz still speaking. There is more of a crowd starting to gather outside the courthouse, but that tends to be happening every day at this time. So I don't know that that really tells us anything. And it is we are 9 minutes from noon in Kenosha, and you know what that could mean.
Warm food around noon.
Yeah. And that probably signals no verdict. So we don't know. Let me say thank you to people signing up on my website. Look at these great people. Katie Finnegan and Emily McKenna have just signed up. Thanks to the two of you. I really appreciate that. New members 16 and 17. Welcome to Candice Guerrero and Roman Grigorev. Also, Lionel Campos and Corey Cheshire. That's 4. Puts us at 21. And how could I forget Sonia Otis and Nicholas Stark? Oh, hey, Nicholas. Great to see you as well. That puts us at 23. And lastly, Shortcakes. Shortcakes is a new member at joinpacman.com, number 24. The crowd is starting to gather, and there are more and more people showing up. Is it possible they know something there that we don't yet know? It's certainly possible. Certainly possible. Oh, hold on. I got to ban a couple more people. Yep, a few more bans. All right. Let's continue to monitor whether Carol Markowitz has posted anything else. Nothing yet. Let's see about Julie Bosman. Nothing newer than an hour. Let's do a general Twitter search. Rittenhouse verdict and look at latest. Okay. I'm excited. Media sources are stating announcement of the Rittenhouse verdict is imminent. Who is that? Breaking. Jury reaches verdict. Possible Rittenhouse verdict. Rittenhouse verdict reached. Kenosha police sent out an email. In about 45 minutes. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Police are getting ready. Verdict coming. Rumblings of a verdict. Rittenhouse verdict announced in the next hour. Oh, boy. It may be happening. Wow. So we are now starting to see many, many messages. Rittenhouse verdict. Jury has reached a verdict per OAN. Well, okay. Take that for what it's worth. Rittenhouse verdict expected. I'm going to wait. If someone can give me something reliable, I will change the title here. Check your email. Let's see. Rittenhouse. Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. But that's what we looked at. Let's just see. We will change the title of the stream and we will go into verdict mode if indeed appropriate, but not prematurely. We may have a verdict. We're trying to figure it out. Everybody relax. Everybody just relax. Like, eventually we will have a verdict, and I'm going to let you guys know. Let's see here.
Any kind of contempt of court charge with this court in Kenosha County?
Probably not, only because it didn't go as far as it could have. All we know is that this person, Mr. Morrison, blew through a red light, got a ticket for it, and he was released. It doesn't seem he gained any information from it. And there's been so many problems surrounding this case, I doubt they would want another one. So, no, I don't think they would pursue a contempt of court.
Sure. And there's no evidence, just to be very clear, no evidence that he photographed anything, and it was expressed
Correct.
that his intent was not to make contact with any.
All right. We're continuing to listen and to stand by. More and more people are posting about the verdict. Let's see what else we've got. Nothing new from Carol Markowitz. Nothing new from Julie Bosman yet. And then over just a straight Rittenhouse verdict search. New York Times has it. Let's see. Per New York Times. Arbery? Not seeing it. Do you mean the New York Times website? It's happening, guys. Rittenhouse jury said to reach a decision. 2 people familiar say the jury has reached a decision. The New York Times has it. The New York Times has it. The jury has reached a decision. All right, let's change our title here. Live, breaking, urgent. Kyle Rittenhouse verdict reached. Announcement imminent. All right. Here we go, guys. The verdict has been reached as of 4 minutes ago. The New York Times reporting that deliberations are now over. Deliberations are over in the Rittenhouse trial, according to 2 people familiar with proceedings. The 12-person jury in the homicide trial of Kyle Rittenhouse has reached a decision. The jury heard closing arguments and instructions Monday, started at 9:15 Central Tuesday, continued deliberating through the week, has not been sequestered. 8 minutes ago, relatives of the people whom Rittenhouse killed have entered the courtroom for the first time in several days. There is every indication this is going on, although we had this. Even the request for lunch may have been an accused request, an alleged request for lunch, but the jury didn't actually ask for it. They were going by when the jury is typically requesting lunch. Wow.
Warm food around noon.
Yeah. So there is a much larger crowd starting to gather. There is every indication that a verdict has been reached here and that it will be read imminently. I am shocked and appalled that I was able to get a calzone last night just before the end of the trial. But I was. I want to say thank you to people dumping in memberships. Fully Charged Pickle coming in very strongly. Just got a new membership. Sherry Nympheus and Amanda Adams just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com, which puts us at 27. The crowd is gathering. Let's see if there's audio.
You're stealing that right now.
They're doing the white. They're going to figure out their white balance, which we will allow them to do. A much larger crowd starting to gather at the Kenosha courthouse. It is unclear if the jurors have had lunch, but there are now multiple reports that a verdict has been reached and could be read within the hour. We're going to end the poll because the poll is about whether a verdict will be reached today. And people said yes, by a very, very small margin. Rittenhouse guilty of wanting warm food at noon. Let's calm down, eat some fruit or something. MSNBC announced the victims' families have been called to the courthouse. Yes, a lot of stuff coming in via Super Chat. I appreciate everybody giving me information. If you're just joining us, we believe a verdict has been reached. We are covering the New York Times update on this. Rittenhouse jury said to reach a decision. Two people familiar with the proceedings say the jury has reached a decision after deliberating 3.5 days. Who shot three? Okay, etc. So that's what's going on. Let's get a new poll going because this may be happening. Well, now it's getting crazy. All right, now it's getting crazy. Let's do a new poll. What will the Rittenhouse verdict be? Guilty on all counts. Guilty on some counts. I think it's no longer hung jury because I think they've got a verdict. So let's see. Guilty on all counts as written. No, can't do that. Guilty on all counts, guilty on some counts, guilty of some. I don't even know how to do it. We'll forget about lesser charges. Not guilty on all counts. We're just going to go with it that way. Yeah, verdict means no hung jury. Very good. Whether you think lesser charges or not, it's just a question about whether there will be any guilty verdicts. We are now in a countdown to the reading live of the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. The jury has reportedly reached a verdict. The families of victims have been called to the courthouse for the first time in days. And we may be seeing that verdict potentially within the hour. 4 days of deliberation. Can the judge still declare a mistrial? Yes. Moderators, please be on alert. I'm expecting that we are going to get absolutely flooded by some of the most horrible people on the internet. And we are going to be, everybody knows what the plan is. We know who to ban. And that is going to be looked at very, very strongly. Court TV not reporting anything yet, but as you can see, the camera here seems to be preparing for a verdict to be read. Things are starting to get set up here. We have audio outside the courthouse. If you're just joining us, the verdict has been reached per the New York Times, per MSNBC, and others. If necessary, we will switch to members-only chat.
It was a 4 millibyte video.
Millibyte?
Titled.
Exactly. Something's going on. Yes, the verdict. The verdict appears to have been reached. Oh, they are in the courtroom, folks. This may be it. They may just be going right to the verdict right now.
Oh, Karen's not up. Oh,
okay.
Wow, folks, it may be happening. Oh, and the cough is getting even worse.
All right, we're back, and the appearances are as before with the jury upstairs, and they have notified us that they have reached a verdict.
Verdict reached.
Anything before we call the jury down?
They're just doing it, guys.
Okay.
Wow, folks. Memberships are dumping in. Scott Stanton, Todd Hemsell is a new member. Sean Klinger has signed up, Corey Flintoff, Diane Foskey, and Paula Morgan. That's 6 new members in like 20 seconds. Wow. What a day. What a day. The verdict has been reached. The verdict has been reached. Court TV is not even covering it. What on earth is going on? We have a verdict. You can vote in the chat. A majority says guilty on some counts. Send us a super chat. Tell us what you believe the verdict will be. Wow. Wow. This is going to be it for Uncharged Pickles.
Uncharged Pickles?
Coupon code right above me. When we have a verdict, it will go away. It has been great being with everybody throughout this trial. We are going to continue coverage even after the verdict because we want to see what, if anything, is going to be taking place outside in Kenosha. We have a crowd starting to gather more and more on the steps of the courthouse, which we will be monitoring very closely. Court TV seems to be realizing that there is indeed a verdict coming. And it could be anything. It could be anything. The courthouse busier than we've seen it. This all came together very quickly. And of course, what if the judge declares a mistrial? What if the judge declares a mistrial? We still don't have an answer to that. I want to say thanks to Carlos Paino, who just signed up on my website. Carlos, thank you. It's been great having you here throughout our coverage of the trial. I think we're more than
maybe a few minutes while we...
100 hours in. Let's refresh over here and see if we prefer the Court TV feed. Maybe we will. Actually, this feed is quite delayed, so maybe we'll stick with this one. The judge smirking about the entire thing, maybe realizing it's the last few minutes he will get to be on TV every day. Everybody looking very, very nervous. And this, sometimes you get a full hour. But we just learned about this about 10, 15 minutes ago, and they are already bringing the jury in. I want to say thanks to Casey Gilson, who just signed up on my website. Thanks, Casey. Very much appreciate it. Also, thanks to John Perutz and James Moore. It's been amazing people's support during this trial, and we will likely go Monday into the other trial.
Any of the other judges are welcome. That's the only exception. By the way.
Three different ways to communicate what you think will happen. We have a poll going on YouTube that you can vote in. 71% of you believe there will be at least one guilty verdict. You can participate in the regular chat on YouTube. You can also send a super chat. This is a critical moment. This is the end. %7 of you believe it will be guilty on all counts. 22% of you believe it will be not guilty on all counts. And 71% of you believe there will be some guilty verdicts. Some guilty verdicts. I want to say thanks to Shannon Green for signing up at joinpacman.com. Thank you, Shannon. Also, Kevin Campbell just signed up using the coupon code Uncharged Pickles.
Uncharged Pickles?
That's number 39. It may be a few minutes before the jury makes it up. We have been advised of that. The judge having some kind of a cough drop of sorts. Unclear if there are menthol elements in it. I want to say thanks to Mr. Yee for making a Patreon pledge. Those count double today. They count as 2. Daniel Parks also signing up at joinpacman.com using that very same coupon code.
Uncharged piccolos?
And his new member number 42 today. This seemingly will be the conclusion of our coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, although the judge could still declare a mistrial without prejudice, with prejudice. We may have a whole new trial. We really don't know. The judge has not yet ruled on the 2 different mistrial requests. Hannah Lake is a new member. Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate you signing up at joinpacman.com, number 43 today.
For those of you in the audience portion, no, it doesn't need to be. There can't be any reaction at all, no matter how strongly you may feel. And it's understood that many people do have strong feelings, but we can't permit any kind of a reaction to the verdict. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of law enforcement here, and you will be whisked out of here if there is any. So just be aware.
The jury is coming in, folks. We will be looking at this count by count. I have my legal pad here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts. We are moments from the verdict. The entire case leading to this.
Okay.
Thanks to Lynn Payden for signing up on my website. Thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate your support. Now there's a phone ringing.
Hello? Would you come down, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, jury will be coming in. Augustin Popa just signed up on my website. Number 45 today. I very much appreciate that. The outpouring of support, particularly in the context of us being banished from Twitch for 30 days, is very heartwarming. 5 counts, and there will be 5 verdicts. 5 counts, 5 verdicts. Thanks to Christine Gilchrist and Andrew Billings for signing up on my website. Also, Matt Mulholland and Susan Ozelin. That puts us at 49 today. You guys are the best. I really appreciate the audiences that have been here. We estimate around 1.5 million different stream starts took place during coverage of the trial. Oh, sorry. Thanks to S. Prez for the $100 super chat. Says thanks for providing coverage and thanks to everyone for pickle jokes. Sorry. I didn't realize it wasn't full screen. We could be under 5 minutes from the verdict. Thanks to Patty Gifford and Dana Wingate for signing up on my website. Numbers 50 and 51. The website is under serious load right now.
All right, members of the jury, have you elected a foreperson? Would you...
Here it is. 5 charges, guys.
Give your juror number, please.
54.
54. And has the jury reached a verdict as to each count of the information?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
One verdict and one verdict only.
Yes.
Would you hand all of the paperwork to the bailiff, please?
This is the ones that you didn't know.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow. So the judge first has to look at everything and we'll make sure everything's in order and in good standing.
May I see that too, please, Mrs. Chairman? Thank you.
Thanks to Lance McGee for signing up on my website. Appreciate that, Lance. Also, Dylan Bush is a new member. At this critical moment, an outpouring of support for independent media. I will read everybody's names after, as the judge reviews the verdicts, and then they will be read. And then we will see what happens outside the courthouse. As you can see, a much larger crowd outside the courthouse at this time. If people want to...
The defendant will rise, face the jury, and hearken to its verdicts.
Oh boy, here we go.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Not guilty.
As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Not guilty.
As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Not guilty.
As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber. we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Not guilty on all charges.
The jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled? No. Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and we started just about 3 weeks ago. And I told you it could last 2 weeks and 2 days. This is 2 weeks. This is 3 weeks. You were a wonderful jury to work with. You were punctual. You were attentive. And the forgotten six over here who had a very difficult job of keeping from discussing the case during the time that they were sequestered as well. All of you, I couldn't have asked for a better jury to work with. And it has truly been my pleasure. I think, without commenting on your the verdicts themselves, just in terms of your the attentiveness and the cooperation that you gave to us, justifies the confidence that the founders of our country placed in you. So I dismiss you at this time. You're never under any obligation to discuss any aspect of this case with anyone. You're welcome to do so as little or as much as you want. The media have requested, a number of media sources have requested the ability to talk to you, and they have been allowed to present presentations to you that you'll get in writing. And it's entirely up to you whether you want to contact them. They are not to contact you. If anyone does contact you and just tell them you're not interested in discussing it, if that's the case. And if anyone persists in doing so, report that to us and it will be addressed, I assure you. At the beginning of the trial, there was some concern about information and your safety, and I assure you that we will take every measure to ensure that that is your concerns are addressed and respected. I'm going to talk to you for just a minute, not about anything to do with the case, but just about that sole issue. And you, as I say, you're welcome to discuss the case as little or as much as you want. Any questions, anybody? Thank you so much. And you're after 4 years, you're eligible for service again. It would be my pleasure to work with you. Thank you. Yeah.
So notice Rittenhouse being let out immediately. Presumably there was a plan that they need to get him out. I think that there are security concerns about Rittenhouse. They seem to usher him out very quickly there. And we are monitoring what is going on outside the courthouse. If people have feeds from in Kenosha that we should switch to when this is done, please let me know so that we can get to those and see what is going to transpire, or hopefully not, outside the courthouse. And quite a crowd now starting to gather.
Mr. Richards?
Your Honor, I can judge on the verdicts.
Any word from the state?
The jury has represented our community in this trial and has spoken.
All right, the motion of the defendant is granted. The charges against the defendant on all counts are dismissed with prejudice, and he is released from the obligation of his bond. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good day.
I just sent an email from a bond motion.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. And a serious presence developing outside the courthouse. Clearly, as you may have seen, they ushered out the former defendant, Kyle Rittenhouse, presumably some concerns about his safety. And now we are going to see what is the reaction from the community. I don't know who may be streaming outside the courthouse. We do have this one shot, which we are going to be looking at. But if folks have others that may be there, I certainly am interested in seeing what is going on. I believe, let's see. Okay, we have one feed here from right outside the courthouse. And we have a second feed. Okay, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict has been reached. It is not guilty on all counts. Not guilty on all counts for Kyle Rittenhouse. News to share YouTube. I'm trying to get one other feed here for us. Okay, yeah, news to share isn't live. So I don't know why someone directed me to that, but they are not live. It's not clear to me whether these folks know the verdict yet. I just don't know. But we are monitoring. So many super chats coming in, so many people wanting to weigh in. I do want to say thank you to people who have been signing up. John Malone, Elber Galarga, Chris Yanez has signed up. I appreciate that. Denise Bertolozzi, Jonas Witzel, James Edgar, Vicky DePaolo has signed up.
We are not a communist movement. We stand for the Declaration of Independence.
That's 59.
I know not what cause others may take, but he said, give me liberty.
So we're monitoring right outside the courthouse here. The question, of course, is what happens now?
City of Kenosha, it is.
Let's see here.
See what transpires over the next few hours, but as we've reported, and what we all watched live, Kyle Rittenhouse, a free man, he will presumably be walking out of the court. Same way he comes in every day, separate entrance. He's not gonna.
And we've got some disruption there, as you can see, with the signal with Ted Rowlands outside of the courthouse. We'll do our best to rectify that. In the meantime, I have Judge Ashley Wilcott with me in the studio here at Court TV headquarters. Judge, your reaction to the verdict, please.
Oh, holy smokes. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Julie. I know we've all been on pins and needles now on day 4 of this. And holy smokes, because of this, I think that this defense really did do a good job of saying, nope, it is self-defense. And this jury, it boiled down to, is it self-defense or not?
Wow, what a day. An incredible result here as things are starting to happen.
An advantage. A $2 million legal defense fund. People like the McCluskeys from St. Louis who practice the same behavior by pulling their weapons for no reason on peaceful protesters. This is disturbing at best, and it is unacceptable at the highest level.
I'm not so surprised because in this city, my nephew was shot 7 times in the back and no charges were ever leveled. You have to understand from day one, the judge had his hand on the scale. He didn't allow pictures. He didn't allow videotapes in. He didn't allow. He was doing everything he could to allow this young man to leave his courtroom carefree. It put lines over the eyes of the jurors and maybe...
So as you can hear, significant honking taking place in the background, and now it's a question as to what happens next. The ideal thing would be that this crowd disperses and that it does not escalate. I think the longer people stay and the more honking there is, the higher the propensity becomes for things to get out of control.
He really acted it out. And what came to his rescue was racist-ass government, the police, and everything that's involved in this case that did not ringtones played from Trump. The judge said he doesn't like ralliers, he calls them rioters. There's a big difference. So this was not
Things fortunately remaining pretty calm for the time being, and we're going to watch it. Significant police presence has been deployed to Kenosha.
To show up here, for me to show up, okay? If that's what it takes, what are their motives? Another thing, if somebody told them not to show up, who's controlling them? Nobody told me to show up or not to show up. That means I'm not being in control.
All right, so tensions sort of rising there, but so far nothing nothing particularly violent, which is good. I want to say thanks to Julie Phillips for the Patreon pledge. Those count double and put us at 61. Also, big thank you to Julie Phillips for the website membership, which is an additional one, puts us at 62. There is now movement to get around to the side, and we will see if we actually see the defendant exit.
Hey, what happened?
Seems like we're getting around to the side of the courthouse, presumably where Kyle Rittenhouse will be leaving. I don't know if he goes directly to Fox News for an interview or if he stops at home for food first. They may have realized he already left, actually. A lot happening here, as you can see. Wow. Does he get to intern for Matt Gaetz now? Yeah, I think so. I think so, actually. Matt Gaetz expressed significant interest in that. I'm getting emails from people in the last couple minutes saying they just heard that a verdict has been reached, and hopefully I will cover it. The verdict was read 10 minutes ago. It is not guilty on all counts. Not guilty on all counts for Kyle Rittenhouse. The jury has spoken. Look at this guy. Saying self-defense and shaking and walking into someone. Wow. So a lot of characters certainly participating here. A number of different people. If you're just joining us, Kyle Rittenhouse, not guilty on all counts, was rushed out very, very quickly after the verdict. I will, yeah. Do I see, good question. Do I ever see myself going to Kenosha? No. Listen, I've said before, I try to stay away from these parts of the country where there are lots of guns and militia culture and that type of thing. I try to stay away from those parts of the country. It's just not for me. So no, certainly no plans to go to Kenosha. By the way, we will continue banning people. That's not going to stop. It's not apparent that the crowd is building, and this is good in terms of there not being violence. In fact, it's starting to sort of seem like people are wandering away, which is kind of what you want to see, lest this become another situation like the one that led to this trial in the first place. But it's sort of seeming like people are generally walking away rather than towards the courthouse, is the impression that I'm getting. Will they prosecute Kyle for perjury? Seems unlikely to me. Seems unlikely to me. Let's see what is happening on Court TV's coverage at this time.
The audio and the video kind of dropped out. You were making some points about what you were seeing outside of the courthouse. You told us that some folks supporting Kyle Rittenhouse were cheering and then ran to get out of there. But so far, you said it had been peaceful. I want you to pick back up where we left off, please.
And still is. In fact, they seem to be more prayerful than chanting now. It's a quiet scene outside the courthouse for those on the courthouse steps that have been here from the beginning. And you're right, as soon as the verdict was read, the pro-Kyle folks, several of them, literally sprinted away because of obvious potential concerns.
Right. And I'm being told, Chanley, you were in there in the courtroom when the verdict was read. What can you share with us, please?
Yeah, Julie, I was in the courtroom before the jury entered as security filed in, flanking all sides of the gallery inside the courtroom, a full house, standing room only. And the family of Kyle Rittenhouse entered emotionally. His mother, Wendy, already crying before she even sat down to wait for the jury to enter. And also on the other side, we had the Carrie Ann Swart, the fiance of Joseph Rosenbaum, Hannah Giddings, Susan Hughes. They were softly crying even before the jury entered. Now, as we waited, we had to wait a while for the jury to enter. The alternates entered first, and they didn't know what was going to happen, but then the jury filed in, and I noticed immediately that they didn't seem weary. They didn't seem tense. They even smiled at each other as they sat down, and they were like sitting up in their seat, leaning forward, looking at Kyle, looking at the defense table. And the foreperson, juror number 54, she's a white woman, probably in her 50s. She's one of those jurors who wore a mask the entire trial, and she handed over the verdict forms. And as they were read, all eyes were on Kyle Rittenhouse. The jury, all of them looking over towards him, studying his reaction. And as not guilty was read, you could hear the sobs coming from the gallery and then coming from Kyle Rittenhouse. He almost collapsed and was hugging his attorneys. And at one time, after count 5 was read, he did collapse into the desk. And it was just a very emotional, tense inside this courtroom. And the jury, even before actually they were dismissed, still nodding, smiling at the judge, filed out of there. But the first one out of the courtroom, which I thought was interesting, Julie, Kyle Rittenhouse, he almost sprinted out of that courtroom. I've never seen that from a defendant. And it was like he was waiting. He wanted to go see his family. He wanted to go celebrate this victory for him.
Oh, wow, Chanley. I'm sure there are probably plenty of security protocols that have been put in place for this moment that we've all been waiting for, and the exiting of Kyle Rittenhouse out of that courtroom, and then, of course, the members of the jury who we found out yesterday through what the judge put on the record with the incident with the bus in the way that they're being protected here on after. Ted, you've been telling us this week as you've been outside of the court.
Right. So that is what is happening, folks. That is what is happening. It appears as though things are remaining essentially calm at the courthouse, which is what we want. No indication that things are turning violent at this time, and that's a very, very good thing. I really appreciate everybody who has joined me throughout coverage of the trial. Our coverage of the trial is going to end here and now, but I will be monitoring the situation in Kenosha. If things do escalate, I will be back, and please do email me if that's the case, but we are going to hope that things remain calm here. Thank you for joining me. We will be back Monday with the trial over the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, and then we are going to be going from there. Thank you very much, everybody.